plenty of us that have picked up a paint chip from the paint thing and then taken a photo of it and sent it to a festival office for approval, and they thought they approved a beige and they were approving a gray with a slight purple undertone, and then they make you repaint. Not all of us have had to repaint, but plenty of us have had to repaint. Some of you know that I've been on this mission to get carpenters interested in building Renaissance festivals, partially because it's a blast, partially because I know lots of festival management and hundreds of vendors that would love to have more selection available when shopping for a contractor that wants to build at the show. And it's just, I feel like people enjoy their life more when they have more opportunity for creativity. And when we were builders at Renaissance fairs, it's like we never had to build the same thing twice. We got to play with really whimsical designs. It really was like the most fun I could ever imagine while toting 2x4s. So anyway, that's been like this little passion of mine for a while. So I have this set of guides that are designed for contractors to learn what it takes to build in the industry, and also for like new vendor coordinators or site managers, whoever ends up with building oversight responsibilities, just to give them a cheat sheet for what it is they're looking for in a building. Because often the people hired into those positions don't really come from a building background. They were hired for their interpersonal skills, or how great they were with contracts, or what they knew about landscaping. They weren't necessarily anybody that had ever been anywhere near a framing crew. So I made this set of guides. The first one is out already, and it is the Renfaires Builder's Guide to Color, and it has a selection of color palettes, but more importantly, it has the story, the history behind why these colors would be chosen. And enough of that even if you don't want to use one of these color palettes, you could figure out if what the direction you were thinking about going with color is going to be a bad fit. So it's a PDF. You'll get updates to it forever. My current plan is to do like another set of colors. I want to say there's like 9 different color palettes in there that include hex codes, so you can make sure it's representing properly on your screen, and the names of the paint company and the color code for that paint. And that's because there's plenty of us that have picked up a paint chip from the paint thing and then taken a photo of it and sent it to a festival office for approval, and they thought they approved a beige and they were approving a gray with a slight purple undertone, and then they make you repaint. Not all of us have had to repaint, but plenty of us have had to repaint. So by having all the data there, we can make sure we're all actually looking at the same color. The next guide that's coming out, which will be in the next couple weeks, is the Renfaires Builder's Guide to Design. And that one has the history behind why the buildings look like that, and some of the common traits that people don't realize are common traits. Like in England, roof pitches tend to be steeper, right? Because then your roofing lasts longer. And frugality is really at the key of a lot of these designs. But because the roof pitches are steeper, then there are a lot of dormers, so kind of how it's all related. And there's just dozens and dozens of different little pieces like that in the guide to design. And some of the tips and tricks for, like, we're not really building half-timbered buildings. We're doing a faux half-timber feel. And that one, I'm really excited about that one also. The two that are still in the works are the Renfaires Builder's Guide to Niche Best Practices and the Administrator's Guide to Building Coordination. Those are going to take a little longer. Niche Best Practices is going to include a lot on maintenance, because that's a conversation that's ongoing in the industry. It's like, we all know we need to update things, or we need to be maintaining the coat of paint on things. And back in the beginning, back in the old days, the Renaissance Fair industry is 50 years old, give or take. And it used to be people from the festival would come around and say, this wall needs some brightening up. I want you to kill the mold that I can see happening over there. Or paint over it. Your window boxes are showing a little wear. Get some fresh paint on those. They give you a list every other year or so of what tune-ups you needed to do to your building. And that's important because there's plenty of people that have Renaissance booths that don't have a house. They don't know that part of having a house is replacing the roof every 30 years and replacing a coat of paint every 10. So that's in there. But I built those because there's this gap. Like, even my friends in festival management, if they find a contractor that's interested in building, there's like no thing to hand them to make it easy. It's like now they have to find time to coach somebody through how to build at a Renaissance fair. So I'm hoping that these will help cover some of those I don't know what word was coming to me. It's like socio-political, but that's not actually the word. But some of those gaps in knowledge base. So it's been a blast because it's buildings inside Renaissance festivals are probably my Roman Empire. It's a thing I think about all the time. Partially because I got to design them for years and I loved it, and partially because that means that I also see the screw ups, and even if they don't really personally affect me, it doesn't mean they don't bother me.